Hi everyone. Today I will take one another class on human resource management. In our last class, I have talked about disciplinary action. Continuing to our previous class, I am now talking about punishment given by the owner of the company or management if their employee would perform any misconduct. So in our last class, I will talk about the guidelines of disciplinary action, then procedure of disciplinary action, then penalties and punishment, a brief introduction, process for disciplinary action. Now, come about the punishment. Punishment, what is punishment, when it is given, and the types of punishment given to the employee by the management committee depending on their level of offense and the experience, employee's experience on which the punishment is given. So, move to the topic directly. So, depending on the gravity of misconduct, management may intimate the following punitive action against the employee who is found guilty: the dismissal, discharge, discharge simplicity, suspension, demotion to a lower grade, withholding increments, fine, and warning or censure. Of these, suspension, discharge, or dismissal may be classified as major punishment, while awarding a fine, warning, or censure are regarded as minor punishment. In establishment where the Industrial Employment or Standing Order Act is applicable, the employer can award only those punishments which are mentioned in the standing order. The object of punishing an employee is in a minor way is to express the concern of the employer for maintaining discipline in the establishment. Oral warning, written censure, fines all aim at preventing the employee from going off the track. The fine may hit the take-off pay or take-home pay of the employee. Warning may be entered in his personal record. Loss of increment has an element of shame attached to it, and demotion may be extremely humiliating for the delinquent employee. Discharge simplicity means termination of an employee's services for loss of confidence and trust and does not carry the stigma of misconduct. Major punishment such as suspension, discharge, and dismissal need further elaboration and are hence discussed separately. So first we'll talk about suspension. Suspension means prohibiting an employee from attending work, preventing him from discharge the duty assigned to him, and withholding the wages payable to him. Suspension does not imply termination of services of an employee. It only means denial of work to him. When the act of misconduct of an employee is considered seriously, he is suspended and an inquiry is ordered to find out whether he is really guilty or not. Sometimes the employee may be suspended even before issuing a charge sheet so as to prevent him from tampering with the record of the organization. The employer is obliged to pay a substances allowance, that is one half of basic wage plus the dearness and compensatory allowances, to the delinquent employee for a period of 90 days. If the inquiry goes beyond 90 days, the allowance is increased to three-fourths of the employee's normal emolument. Minor offences like late coming, sleeping while at work, smoking in prohibited places, etc., do not invite serious punishment like suspension unless the employee repeats the offences habitually. Where standing order are in force, the rules for suspension and employee are mentioned therein and are expected to be followed scrupulously. The second toughest punishment is dismissal and discharge of an employee. The final outcome of both dismissal and discharge is same, that is the employee's service stand terminated. Some minor difference between the two terms need to be noted down here. While dismissal is a sort of punishment against alleged misconduct, discharge is not always a punishment. When the employer examines all background factors leading to the termination of service of an employee, he may simply discharge the employee instead of dismissing him. Dismissal has a negative connection and carries a punitive level alongside. A person who is dismissed from service may find it difficult to find alternative employment when compared to a person who is discharged from service. In case of discharge, the errant employee may be serviced a reasonable advance notice. This is not so in case of dismissal, where the service are terminated immediately. In case of dismissal, the employer can withhold the duties payable to the employee, whereas in case of discharge, usually all these are settled simultaneously. Finally, before dismissing an employee, the employer has to hold disciplinary proceedings in a proper way by domestic inquiry. In case of discharge, he may or may not go for it. The ground for dismissing an employee are clearly stated in Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and the Industrial Employment or Standing Order Act 1946, such as willful insubordination, theft, fraud, dishonesty, habitual late coming, habitual neglect of work or negligence, willful damage to property, disorderly violent behavior, striking work in violation of rule, taking bribes, etc. All these are examples of the misconduct. Due to that, dismissal or the discharge of an employee may be happen. Okay, so today's discussion is over. If you have any doubt regarding any point of the said topic, please let me know it. In your next class, I will cover some more important questions that came in your previous year exam. Thank you.